Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Amalia Dianti and I'm a student of English Education Department, Jenderal Sudirman University. Today, I would like to present my review journal dealing with semantics. Before I start, let me remind you about semantics. In general, semantics is a branch of linguistics that tells the meaning. The meaning studied by semantics is context-free meaning, the meanings that are lexical, and some are grammatical meanings. On this occasion, I will present about lexical semantics and fields. I have already provided the journal with the title Semantic Fields and EFL or ESL Teaching. Next slide is table of contents. My journal has several points in this review. There are 1. Introduction, 2. Historical background, 3. Semantic fields. Now, we move to point number 1, that is introduction. This journal provides introduction with the semantic meanings. And then a semantic field is a set of words or lexemes which are related in meaning. Semantic field is also known as a word field, lexical field, field of meaning, and semantic system, based on North Quiz 2017. Semantic field, more specifically, is a set of lexemes which covers a certain conceptual domain and which bear certain specificable relation to one another. From letter 1985 cited in North Quiz 2017. In order to clarify the meaning of semantic field and exemplify it, Northwich 2017 states that the words in a semantic field share a common semantic property. Most often, fields are defined by subject matter, such as body parts, landforms, disease, colors, foods, or kinship relations. After introduction, next is about semantic historical background. Crystal 1987 states that the linguistic approach to semantic fields was first propounded by German scholars in the 1930s. In the earlier studies, Getrier 1934 approach showed how the structure of a semantic field can change over time. Middle High German terms for knowledge change between 1200 and 1300. In 1200, German had no separate lexeme for the quality of cleverness. The language contained Kunst, courtly skills, and least non-courtly skills, which it had developed the restricted meaning of religious experience. Kunst was beginning to take on the meaning of art or skill, and Wissen, modern Wissen, had more the meaning of knowledge. Liszt had left the field entirely, as it had begun to develop a pejorative connotation of its sense of cunning or trick in modern German. The whole of this change can be summarized in the form of two diagrams. Crystal, 1987, illustrates this change with the following diagram. In the figure, we can see Getrier's observation of the change in the semantic field of the intellectual aspect of the German language in two different periods. In the next slide, Palmer states that it is also possible to compare two languages to see the way in which they divide up a particular field. The following figure shows the comparison between two color systems of English and literary wells along a single dimension. He provides the comparison between the color system in English and literary wells. And for the next slide, the Red Crystal 1987 states that there have been many philosophical and linguistic attempts to classify the concepts or words in a language, notably those associated with the 17th century quest for a universal language. In recent times, the most influential and popular work has been the Thesaurus of Peter Mark Roget, 1779 until 1869, first published in 1852. Then, we move to the next slide. In this slide, we can see that Crystal states that there have been many philosophical and linguistic attempts to classify the concepts of words in a language, notably those associated with the 17th century quest for a universal language. In recent times, the most influential and popular work has been the Thesaurus of Peter Mark Roget, first published in 1852. In diagram, Crystal gives the following illustration for Roget's categorization of affection. In the diagram, affection has divided into general term, personal, sympathetic, moral, religious. For moral branches, it is divided into obligation, sentiments, condition, practice, and institution. In practice branches, it's divided into temperance, intemperance, sensualism, asceticism, and etc. Move to the next slide. We will talk about semantic fields. 1. Semantic fields in word or vocabulary teaching. Human brain does not store words in random without any relation or connections among them, or store them in a alphabetical order like a dictionary either. Research into memory has shown that we apparently store words in our brain in groups of related words or lexical sets. Words that are related are joined together in our brains. If a new word can be hooked to words which are already stored, it might be easier to remember it. It would seem logical, therefore, that we should teach words in lexical sets to our learners so that it's easier for them to retain and store the words in their memory. Turner and Green on 1998 page 2 state that the words can be related in several different ways, and they give the following examples like 1. By topic like furniture, clothes, family, relationship, animals. 2. By similarity of meaning or synonymy like gorilla, chimpanzee, orangutan, ape. 3. In pairs like hot, cold, old, new, and hard, soft. 4. In pairs or synonyms like slip, slide, rule, harsh, book, or brochure. 5. In a series or scale, boiling, hot, warm, cool, cold, freezing. 6. By subordinates, fruit and hyponyms, orange, apple, pineapple, banana, strawberry. 7. By activity or process, steps in making a cake or building a bookcase. 8. Word families, paint, painter, painting. 9. Or no knowledge, knowing, and knowledgeable. Next slide is semantic fields in lexical meaning translation. Every language cuts up the word in different ways. For example, Arabic has numerous words for different types of camels, or here English has a variety of words for different types of dogs, and Eskimo language has numerous words for different types of snow. Differences cause difficulties in translation from one language. Example, the cat sat on the mat accurately into French without further information about the state of affairs described. We would have to describe arbitrarily whether the cat was sitting on a doormat, or pileson, a small rug, or tapis, or a bedside mat descended the lid. None of these French words corresponds exactly to our mat or rug or carpet. Tapis is often used to translate English carpet as well as rug. This example shows us that for linguists, it is important to deal with the lexical structure of a language rather than with isolated words. Now, we come to the last slide of my review journal. For the last slide, I provide the conclusion from a whole explanation above. Language does not consist of independent and unrelated items. Vocabulary items are interrelated, and some vocabulary items are so closely related they can form a field of sense. However, the same semantic fields in two different languages may differ in terms of the items which are covered by the semantic field, and this may result in difficulties in teaching translation and also in teaching vocabulary. For example, kinship terms in Turkish differ from the kinship terms in English. In English, there is only one kinship term for father's brother and mother's brother, that is uncle, but there are two different kinship terms in Turkish for the same kinship, amca for father's brother and dewan for mother's brothers. This usually occurs because of the cultural aspects of languages, and this may occur in a semantic field. I think that's all from my review journal about lexical semantics and field. Thank you very much for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.